welcome back to Monday Night Football, episode 3 of our second season. We're not going to talk that much today because we have a lot of content. We have 4 interviews with 4 different coaches. We have a lot of highlights as well for these games. So actually, we're going to be getting right into the scoreboard, the Dalton Utilities Off the Link scoreboard. Thank God for all these turf fields that we have in Dalton now. If it wasn't for these turf fields, there would be a lot of games being postponed or canceled. So.
Yeah, I mean, I never would have anticipated that there'd be such high use just for weather purposes, but here we are. And I think until we get out of like these January, February games, that's going to be the case.
Yep, and here we are. We're going into the Dalton Off the Link scoreboard. You know, we're starting off Tuesday. We had a lot of slated games. We had Christian Heritage boys 5-0 win over Sonoraville. Coahola Creek over Murray County 7-0. On the boys, 5-0 on the girls.
Didn't see that coming.
Dalton boys 4, Northwest girls, Northwest 0,
yep.
And then we had Dalton girls 2-1 over Northwest.
Dalton girls continue to have the number over the Northwest
yep.
girls. This goes back to last year.
And then we have Heritage. Heritage getting down. They beat Northwest 3-1, and then later on you're going to see that Northwest. There's actually an intriguing scoreline with Heritage for another team, and then Heritage girls going up 10-0.
Oh, that was the Heritage over North Murray, 3-1. Yeah, Heritage right up in Ringo.
And then Southeast going down away to Sprayberry and winning 2-0.
Yeah, nice result for them, I think.
Yeah, and then obviously we're going to roll into the Thursday. Todd, what'd you say?
Coahola Creek 7-2 over Union County on the boys' side, and the 4, and on the girls' side, putting 4 in over Union County. Christian Heritage continuing their winning ways, 3-1 over Heritage.
And Heritage, like I said, they beat.
That's the thing. I mean, Christian Heritage has got a good squad, and the further we get into this season, the more it's just proven to be true. And then Dalton with that win over Vestavia Hills, we'll have some highlights on that one, and I'll have a little quote from Coach Cheese. That might be a defining win for them going into this season. And then you had the Northwest girls had the cancellation versus Mount Vernon.
Okay.
And then on Friday we got some more.
Yeah, Friday you had Dalton Academy. I was at that game for the boys. They won 1-0. The girls tied 1-1. You had North Murray bouncing back from their earlier loss. Coming back 2-1 win over Dawson on the boys' side. The girls losing 6-2. Southeast going down to Rome. Boys coming out 2-1 victorious. I didn't see that come. I saw it coming.
Yeah.
We'll see what Rome's are like. Then the Southeast girls played Fort Payne, and they came down with a 3-1 win.
That's a really good result.
Really good result for them.
I know Coach Close is really going to be happy with that result.
Yeah. Then you had Allatoona. So the boys and girls were both playing. Girls played Dalton, and they actually beat the Dalton girls 3-0. And then you had the Northwest boys playing Allatoona as well, and they won 3-0. So it was a little role reversal there, and we'll see because Allatoona's playing Dalton later on in the season. I think they play Southeast as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they're really made of.
We're starting to get that, like if Team A plays Team B and wins, and B beats C, then you expect A to beat, and that's not how it works out. We say that every year. Well, this team beat that team, so that means that this team should beat the other, and it just doesn't work out like that. And whether it be for game conditions, location, whatever. So some big results this past week, some unexpected score lines.
Yep. And like I said, so I was able to catch up with Coach Ruri Alvarez from Dalton Academy after their win versus Murray County, which was their home opener. They got a big week this week. They're actually playing Gordon Central today, and we discussed his scheduling a little bit. Yeah. So we'll be pulling up his interview here shortly. But he had a lot to say, the good things about what his team's going to face this year. We didn't get to have him on the coaches show. He had some prior engagements, so it's good to catch up with him.
I think
here we are with Coach Ruri Alvarez, the head coach of the Dalton Academy Pumas. They had their first season opening game today against Murray County. They came out victorious with a 1-0 win. It was hard fought there. Coach, I'd like for you to give me a little bit of a context about the first game of the season. Obviously, I had a scrimmage against Christian Heritage last week. Just tell us what was the difference between last week and this week.
I think the difference between this week and last week, I think we're just a little bit more hungry this week. A lot of people have said, hey, it's hard to be hungry when you have a full belly. And I think that the fact that, we had some success last year, I think the boys are, a little comfortable. It's normal, but I think just the difference is that today, we fought a little bit harder. it was it was a tough game. We missed a lot of chances. But, again, I mean, Murray did their thing. Their goalkeeper is excellent. Their center backs did well. It was shocking to see that they had a 6-7-0 loss against Coahola Creek. I was there scouting that game, and it was tough because, again, they came out here to play us, and, they played hard. And I think what killed them in that game against Coahola Creek was that, they got scored maybe, I want to say, in the first 3 minutes. And I mean, they got deflated, and they were in a 4-3-3. Then they dropped to a 4-4-2, and then they went from a 3-0 to a 7-0 game. And it's tough too because again, you can't take anything away from Coahola Creek. They're a very good side, and Murray's a good team too. So again, it was a hard-fought game, and we did our best, and it is what it is. A 1-0 win, I'll take it.
So the first game of the season, then next week, it seems like you don't take the gas off the pedal. You played Gordon Central, tough, AAA opponent, and then you play Northwest. So not looking forward because you take day by day, but it looks like your out-of-conference schedule looks pretty stacked this year.
Oh no, I mean our schedule is the toughest, man. We know what the boys can do. At the end of the day, it's about that end result. If you look at our team, from the state championship and our team now, we're still growing. There's a lot of growing to do. There's a lot of work that we have to put in, and it's okay, because I'd rather lose against hard opponents, or we call it learning. I'd rather learn from hard opponents so that once we get into playoffs or region or wherever we end up going, we're just a little bit more prepared because we know that a lot of schools that we play will not be, having the type of players that, Southeast, Northwest, Coahola Creek, Murray, and, Rome. We know we're not going to face those top teams, not top teams, but we're not going to face those calibers of players once we get into that final stretch. So, it's better to learn and be prepared than to win and pretend life is good and then, end up losing at the end. Yeah.
Well, like I said, it was a good game today. I know you take some lessons to learn. Good luck to seeing the matchups next week, and good luck. And looking forward to seeing your team here in the next 3 or 4 weeks as they continue to grow. So good luck to Dalton.
Coach Uri Alvarez for taking some time with Juan after those games, and we're going to go to commercial break. And when we come back, we'll have some more highlights and insight.
Who's up for some football?
That's not football. This is football.
And Eddie, there's one thing that we all can agree on. That's it. North Georgia is the home for new and pre-owned vehicles. And don't forget accessories, parts, service, and collision needs.
Claro que sí se puede. Come see us.
Hey, that's our part.
Experience the power of the links. OptiLink streaming app VidLink, powered by its fastest internet service, GigLink. Your link to reliable remote access to healthcare. Your link to the best educational opportunities. Your link to our community's only local provider. Your link to the ultimate in entertainment choices and gaming experiences. No interruptions and faster downloads power up your life with the perfect combination of speed and entertainment. VidLink and GigLink. Upgrade today and get the power of the link.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? What would it be like? With today's home values, this is the perfect time to sell and make those dreams a reality.
At ColdwellBanker.com, you can get an instant estimate on your home. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams.
At Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty, we've been serving our community since 1974 with offices in Dalton, Calhoun, Ringgold, Cartersville, and Cleveland, Tennessee. We've got you covered.
and actually we're going to be going into TDA Murray County highlights. And these highlights are actually brought to you by a sponsor, Geiger Legal Group. They're actually going to be the sponsors for any highlights we have throughout the season. So we want to thank Geiger Legal Group for being a sponsoring these. Thank you to my boy Chris Brown, helping us out here.
Yeah, appreciate that.
So, but this TDA Murray County game was very interesting.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect out of this one. I knew it was going to be close from the beginning. Both squads, kind of similar talent levels. And plus it was a messy night. Every game last week was a messy night, it seemed like.
Actually, they played on Friday, so
that was a Friday game?
The Friday game. It got moved to Friday to 4 p.m. The weather was good. It was just really cold.
That was the Friday game.
It was really cold. The boys came out with a 1-0 win over Murray County. They missed quite a few chances where they could have probably went up, 2 or 3 goals.
They're starting out with the girls.
The girls, yeah.
So this was a game I was referring to. I think they're very similar talent levels. I really thought Murray, I would have tipped my hat to them and gave them the edge. But, here we are. You got to play the game. And scrambling from the goal mouth. Got a little chip right over the keeper. Did I take a deflection or did I just go right over?
So, but I was at this game. I watched pretty much the whole first half.
What was your feeling? You feel like it was?
Pretty much. Honestly, Murray County dominated the possession the first half. Pretty much the play was all in Dalton Academy's side for the first half. And as mentioned, I wasn't there to see the second half, but all of it was there in the first half. I think Murray County missed some chances, but they should have. I think they should have put in a couple in the first half. And Dalton had maybe one chance, but that was it in the first half.
Well, I know Coach Plemons or Murray County will, rue that missed opportunity there.
She was not a very happy camper. I did speak with her prior to the game and said, "What are your expectations?" She goes, "Well, if the girls do what they're supposed to be doing, we'll be okay. But if the girls don't do what we're doing, then we're going to have some extra running."
But, I will say this. Notice what we're not talking about is, 10 or 20 saves by the Dalton Academy goalkeeper like we were last year. So I think that bodes well for Dalton Academy and also shows how far they've come.
Yes.
When your goalkeepers, once again, not having to make, 15 and 20 saves a game.
And then as mentioned, the boys won 1-0. As you heard, we had spoke with Ruri Alvarez after the game. He was very, he said his team grew a little bit, but there's still a lot to improve. As they said, their schedule's just going to get harder and harder throughout the season. But we were able to catch up with Jesus Jacobo of the Lady Pumas. We didn't have him on the show, so we definitely want to bring that interview up regarding with Coach Jacobo. He had a lot of good things to say about his Lady Pumas.
I know he's really proud of them. They got a great social media account, and I know he works them hard. And like I said, you can see the improvements, right? Because he's getting some results now. And like I said, when you're not having to make 20 saves a game, it always bodes well.
And I don't think they had a win last year or a tie.
I can't remember, but if they did. It escapes my mind.
Yeah, but whenever we get a chance, if we can get that Jesus Coach Jacobo interview going, I would definitely like to hear what. There we go. All right, here we are with Coach Jacobo from Dalton for the Dalton Academy Lady Pumas, getting ready to play their first game, the regular season game today against Murray County. So, Coach Jacobo, tell us what's the mindset of the girls right now. Are they nervous? How are they feeling before their first game of the season?
They're excited because it's been a while since we started the season. Our first game ended up being a JV game, so a lot of those varsity players went with us. They had to sit through and kind of watch some of the learning that's happening with the JV, but so they're ready to show what they have, I guess.
And I know we didn't have you for our coaches show, so is there any players in particular that you want to highlight that you feel like there's some growth? Is there some people that you're counting on for leadership this year?
Definitely. So we've got Guadalupe.
They're playing this week.
We've got Arlette up top, Angelina coming back, Brito coming back. So that group in the middle is kind of who we're looking for. Ortiz in the back has stepped up. It was a 2 in the back last year that kind of controlled everything. So she's owning it this year, and so I'm excited to see how all that comes together.
And then final question, just regarding your season. I know last year was your first inaugural season, this your second season. For you, what is it that you're looking at to take away from this season? Is it like a wins, loss, just maturity, growth? What is it that at the end of the season come back and say that was our goal and we accomplished it?
Love the question because it's something that we talked about with them just because we're excited about the group. So we set 2 goals. One is to be competitive in our region. I think we ended up somewhere below the middle last year, so we want to be top of in our region, and then we want to hit that first. We want to get the playoffs.
Okay.
We want to hit that first game. Hopefully, get in there top 4.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Good luck today. Like I said, this is Coach Jacobo from the Dalton Academy, Lady Pumas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back, and thanks again for the Geiger Legal Group for sponsoring that interview. This is more the trajectory we expected a new program to take, kind of building team chemistry and kind of, moving that talent on up from the middle school and that sort of thing. The fact that on the boys' side they won a state championship in their first year is an anomaly. But what Coach Jacobo is doing is building a team, and it's going to take some time, but now he's starting to get the results, and I think only good things to come for that.
And as
program.
mentioned, and then there's a game today, so as we're currently by this,
probably as you're watching tonight.
Yeah, while you're watching the show, we'd have some scores. Dalton Academy playing Gordon Central. That's both girls and boys.
That's of course, obviously, that's gonna be an interesting result to see Dalton Academy boys versus Gordon Central.
Yes.
Gordon Central's been outstanding over the past several years, so we know the level of program that they're gonna have, and so we'll see if Dalton Academy has something for them.
And then Murray County, they played them tough. The boys lost, 2 heartbreakers last week.
Yep.
To Coahola and the girls and to Dalton Academy. So they're playing at Daresville today. So hopefully they may be able to get their first W of the year.
Well, it'll be their second. They won their first game, so this will be their second. And then, like you said, they got Gilmer later this week on Thursday. I know Coach Bergano will be looking to bounce back. And, for them, it's these losses that they have, throw the Creek result out. But the other ones, it's in the margin. So, a little better touch here, a little better finish there, and he's getting some results, turning these losses into draws and draws into wins.
Yeah. So, but like I said, so far, some of the interesting results coming in. And we're going to have some more coming up next. When we come back from we're about to go to commercial break, but when we come back, we're actually going to discuss a little bit Northwest boys and Altoona.
Big highlight segment coming up.
Northwest Altoona, and then Dalton versus Vestavia Hills. So, commercial break, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Who's up for some football?
That's not football. This is football.
And Eddie, there's one thing that we all can agree on. That's it. North Georgia is the home for new and pre-owned vehicles. And don't forget accessories, parts, service, and collision needs.
Claro que sí se puede. Cancillas.
Hey, that's our part.
We provide an excellent service for individuals who've had catastrophic injury cases, people who've had injuries that are going to last them, unfortunately, for the rest of their life. Being there for a person, being there to actually see them get better, that is what this field is all about. That's what we're really striving to do, and that's what we think we provide. You still have to have that empathy for the person so you can tell their story to the jury. At the end of the day, that's where your case is heard.
Experience the power of the links. OptiLink's streaming app VidLink, powered by its fastest internet service, GigLink. Your link to reliable remote access to healthcare. Your link to the best educational opportunities. Your link to our community's only local provider. Your link to the ultimate in entertainment choices and gaming experiences. No interruptions and faster downloads power up your life with the perfect combination of speed and entertainment. VidLink and GigLink. Upgrade today and get the power of the link.
Welcome back to Monday Night Football. We're going to dive right into it. We got a local matchup, Northwest and Dalton. on the girls and the boys side played last week.
Yep.
I mean, that's one we look to. This one was not a Soccer City Cup match. That's going to be the second time they play this year. But, I mean, it's absolutely a depth gauge for both squads, right, to see where they measure up. I mean, the gold standard being Dalton. Let's don't beat around the bush about
For
it.
the boys, yes.
Yeah.
And Northwest for the girls.
And Northwest for the girls. But on the flip side, right, on the girls, like Dalton had their number last year, and it just continues on this year, it looks like.
Dalton girls came out with a 2-1 win on don't have highlights, but they came out with a 2-1 win against Northwest. Sadie Clark scored the lone goal in the first half for Northwest. So shout out to Amanda Clark and
getting on that
and
goal
Tara
score
Ross.
sheet too.
And then for Dalton we had Lisette Cortez and Stephanie Rivas scoring. And I got there the second half and it looked like the last 25-30 minutes it was Dalton pretty much dominated the possession. It was all run and play. Keeper made a couple errors. So what was a strong point last year for Northwest was their goalie and their back line. I think this year's going to be a liability. From what I saw, the goalie is there, but it's not as strong as it was last year, and their back line definitely is not as strong.
Well, there was just a lot of, I mean, there was just a lot of experience at the goalkeeper position last year for Northwest. So, you know, it's one of those things that it just takes time. So we're going to jump into the Northwest boys, Northwest Dalton boys highlights. Once again, this was a 4-0 win for Dalton. We don't have the goal scorers' names, but you.
Oh no, we had actually, got them, man. We had David
coming through.
You know, I did my homework for this game. You know, so we had David Saldana scoring a goal, and he also had an assist. We had Luis Favela scoring a goal. We had Darwin Peinado with a goal and assist, and then we had Romeo Chavarria with a goal assist. And this, you know, I was at this game, watched it from the press box, and I was in the warm, and they did have hot chocolate, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, so I did want to let you know that.
Nice humble brag, by the way, too. I was in the press box. It was warm.
You know, this game, I felt coming in, so it was going to be Northwest did not have much bite. I don't know what it was. Dalton pretty much controlled the possession, controlled the play. Nico was pretty much a he was a bystander in this game. Didn't really get much involved, or you know,
credit the Dalton defense for that, right?
So there's another goal. That was the third goal right there, and then obviously Dalton come back. They were up comfortably, you know, scored. You know, like I said, 4-0. They didn't really feel that much pressure. See, that should have been an easy stop, but as mentioned, and we discussed this earlier. This was the first time Eastside had two games in the same day.
Yeah.
So I did see him after the girls' game talking to the refs for a good 2 to 3 minutes about some non-calls I didn't get, and then the refs told him to shoo away. So then he went to focus on the boys. But we talked about how is he going to be able to split time up between.
Yeah, and while I'm not ready to say, you know, the results a reflection of like his timing, I'm not saying that. And once again, thank you to the Geiger law firm, Geiger Legal. For those highlights. Yeah, I'm not ready to say that has any role. I mean, we'll have to see over the rest of the season if that really becomes like a thing. But I know Coach Gutierrez is going to be disappointed with that result. I mean, I just saw in the highlights there, you know, could have been a little better man marking in some of those situations, maybe a little bit better read off the goal line. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's a non-region game. You know, you want to be battle tested, and there's no shame in losing 4-0 to Dalton. I mean, there's really not, especially early in the season. He had to replace a lot of folks last year, a lot of players.
Correct.
But, you know, for Coach Cheeves, that's going to be a result he expects.
And this is, like I said, we're going straight in. That was Zeke Ortiz. So this is Dalton Vestavia Hills. So that goes.
Set this up. At this point, it's already 2-0 Vestavia Hills.
Yes. And that goal brought it back, made it 2-1.
Watch this.
And then that goal right there was scored by Saldana. Again,
Saldana,
he scored his second. And then the third goal with less than 3 minutes by Zeke Ortiz.
Nice.
So if you weren't at this game, I was at this game, and this scoreline was 2-0 going into like minute 60, 62. Mm-hmm. I was about to leave because, you know, I had to go pick up my daughter.
Were you pretty much writing the game off at that point?
Well, it was 2-0, 17, 18 minutes, and I was like, you know.
Was Dalton showing life at that time?
They weren't. Not at that time. They showed life. Once Zeke Ortiz scored the first goal, it's like that's when they flipped. Like they got life. it's like they give them a boost of energy, and then the second goal came, and then they was pretty much the last 15 minutes was what a typical Dalton game looks like, where you're just pressing. The team is always playing on the heels. From that moment on, it was like that. But for the first 60 minutes, I don't know if it was due to the weather or not. It's just they were just trying to find their footing,
Right.
And they finally found it. And then once they found their footing, they did not let off the pedal, and they kept going until they got 3 unanswered goals there in the last 17 minutes of the game.
Well, I'll tell you, when Coach Cheese puts out a statement like this, it tells you that it definitely meant something. And I'd rip this right off Facebook. Have you ever watched a game where the team grew up right in front of your eyes during the game? That team walked off the field tonight is stronger as a team than we walked onto the field tonight. We found out a lot about our team. We made a series of mistakes that led us to falling behind, and we had just missed a great opportunity. Never give up. To me, when Coach Cheese puts something like out for public consumption, it says a lot about what this game meant to him and how the team came back and didn't give up.
Correct. Yeah, because you got to think about it. Last year, it was reverse. Last year, they went up multiple games where they were up 3-1, 3-0. Southeast, they were up 3-1, came back tied 3-3. Up to Atlanta International, they were up 3-1, got tied 3-3. This time, it was the reverse. They were down, and they fought back. Right. Where in last year's team, I think they were lacking that. So I think this year, this turnaround, it shows that we may be down, but
character.
Yes.
Yeah, Coach Steve's going to love the character that they showed in this game. He's obviously more proud of a 3-2 comeback than probably the 4-0 win over a local team in this situation, just because of the character building that it takes. And really, that serves as a touchstone for his team if they find themselves down later on in the year in an important game. They're about, hey, we've been in this position before. Let's dig deep. Let's see if we can sniff a goal out. Yeah. You get one back, and you never know what happens.
And like I said, so it was overall a great week for Dalton. Both, the boys and girls, Northwest, they came back as well. A great week for them. We'll see how Esau, like I said, we'll see. There's going to be a couple week stretch where he's got a game every day because, he's having to split up duties.
Well, going back to the girls' side, I made the mistake last year of worrying about Northwest early.
Yes, you did, but then they came back.
I came back and I ate plate after plate of crow on that one, so I'm not ready to say anything about that yet. They played a tough schedule. This is obviously not the result they wanted. But the part that does concern me just a little bit is you said they were up, and then Dalton took it to them, and so that was and in control possession. Correct. More so than anything.
All right, we're going to go to commercial break, and we come back. We're going to have more highlights from Coahola Creek and Union. Here we go. Thank you, Geiger Legal Group, for these highlights, and we'll see you again next.
Who's up for some football?
That's not football. This is football.
And Eddie, there's one thing that we all can agree on. That's it. North Georgia is the home for new and pre-owned vehicles. And don't forget accessories, parts, service, and collision needs.
Claro que sí se puede. Cancias.
Hey, that's our part.
Experience the power of the links. OptiLink's streaming app VidLink, powered by its fastest internet service, GigLink. Your link to reliable remote access to healthcare. Your link to the best educational opportunities. Your link to our community's only local provider. Your link to the ultimate in entertainment choices and gaming experiences. No interruptions and faster downloads power up your life with the perfect combination of speed and entertainment. VidLink and GigLink. Upgrade today and get the power of the link.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? What would it be like? With today's home values, this is the perfect time to sell and make those dreams a reality.
At ColdwellBanker.com, you can get an instant estimate on your home. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams.
At Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty, we've been serving our community since 1974 with offices in Dalton, Calhoun, Ringgold, Cartersville, and Cleveland, Tennessee. We've got you covered.
back to Monday Night Football. So we're going into our second half of the show here. In just a moment, we're going to bring up the OptiLink scoreboard again and revisit last week's scores. But then coming up after that, we're going to talk a little Creek versus Union.
Really quick, like I said, Todd, we're going to go over these really quick. Tuesday, these are for Tuesday last week. Christian Heritage 5-0 over Sonoraville. The boys, Coahola Creek 7-0 over Murray County. And then Coahola Creek girls 5-0 over Murray County. Dalton 4-0 over Northwest. Dalton girls 2-1 over Northwest. Heritage 3-1 over North Murray. And then Heritage girls 10-0 over North Murray. And then you had Southeast going down to Sprayberry and coming up with a 2-0 win.
Great result.
Yes. And then on Thursday you had
Thursday, Coahola Creek 7-2 over Union County. We're going to hit those highlights in just a minute. And then the girls getting the 4-0 win as well. Christian Heritage continue winning ways over Heritage. So that's Christian Heritage over Heritage 3-1. Dalton with a comeback win over Vestavia Hills 3-2. And then Northwest Mount Vernon was canceled. And I don't know if that one's going to be rescheduled. I kind of doubt it.
I doubt it. Then the Friday results mentioned, we had Dalton Academy 1-0 over boys, and then girls was tied 1-1. North Murray over Dawson 2-1. Girls going down 6-2. Southeast boys with a 2-1 win over Rome, and then the girls with a 3-1 win over Fort Payne. Allatoona going down to Northwest 3-0, and then Allatoona girls coming out with a 3-0 win over girls. One thing we don't have many highlights of Southeast. They were away, but they had two great results. They came out 2-0 in the season. They came out victorious over Sprayberry 2-0. Diego Ramirez scored, and Jerry Fivela scored. And then to go up 2-0, and then against Rome, they actually went up. They won 2-1, and Jerry Fivela, the goal scorer again. He's already got 3 goals. But I think those are two very great results.
So what's your take right off the bat about the Coach Holguin? He's gone, and now
the train keeps trucking. I think Garcia's got him in there. We'll see how later in the season when they start getting more the Northwest game, the Dalton game, the Dalton Academy game.
Those are a little bit different kind of pressure, but at the same time, Sprayberry is a good team historically over the past few years, and to go down there and get a 2-0 result early in the season, I think he's off to a great start, and I think it is. I think the train's just going to keep rolling.
And then the girls, they went down to Fort Payne, Alabama, and came out with a 3-1 win. I mean, I think the girls, you called it earlier in the season. In the first season, you said the team that may take the Soccer City Cup on the girls' side, maybe the Southeast girls.
Well, they're off to a good start and making my prediction look good. Like I said, mine was just based on what they lost last year and what's coming back in their style of play, and I was really impressed. And I think Close is going to have them, just as the season goes, have them playing better and better.
And I mean, we'll obviously at the end of the show, we'll go over the games. They got some upcoming games this week, but I feel like their coach Close has got them. Like he said, what they want to do, what they haven't done before. Since he's been coaching the girls.
First step, win region, right?
Win region.
Yeah.
The boys, they just want to continue their ways and, keep going for another region title and possibly another state. So we'll see how it goes. But we are getting ready to go into some highlights of Coahola Creek versus Union.
A little more Geiger Legal sponsored highlights.
A little Geiger Legal group sponsored these. Now,
as mentioned, Creek on the boys and the girls side broke out the big stick. It looks like we're starting out with the boys highlights. Which there's 7 goals here. So we got goals by Miguel Arredondo, Tony Mendiola, 2 by Saul Bersenas, and 3 by Omar Mendiola. Omar coming in with the trick.
I had the Mendiola score. Well, so I got Miguel Mendiola, Tony Mendiola, Omar Mendiola, and Saul Bersenas. But, I feel like it was a Mendiola goal scorer. Regardless of Mendiola's scoring goals.
There's a Mendiola scoring goals in this game, guaranteed.
Yes. And that was a look at that. There's no way the keeper was stopping that one. Upper 90. Great shot,
And hopefully, I know, Coach Okobo, he's probably just hoping in a game that ends up 7-3 that you get a little bit deep into your bench and get some experience for the younger guys. And if I'm not mistaken, let's see this game. Oh, no, that was earlier in the week. I just want to mention in the 7-0 win over Murray County, he made a special note that Kyle Farner got his first varsity goal in that game. So that's what.
Yeah, Carl Farner, the freshman scoring.
Yep.
So that's where I had Miguel Arredondo scoring 2 goals, Cruz Barcenas. So it was the opposite. The first game they had the Barcena boys scoring goals. The last game was the Mendiolas. So it's either going to be the duo of the Barcenas or the Mendiolas. I mean,
as long as they're scoring goals, I don't think he cares the last name on the back of the shirt. Then on the girls' side versus Union, that was 4-0 goal scorers by Natalie Brito, Stephanie Arvizu, and Mariela Mendiola. Is that you got?
Yeah, I have Natalie Brito, scoring. I had her scoring 2 goals.
Yep,
Stephanie Aruzia 1 goal, and another Mendiola. I mean, I don't know where they get them, but these Mandiolas are goal scoring machines out there. But that was a good result for Creek overall.
Yeah.
They came back from they didn't actually. They won. They beat Murray County 7-0 on the boys. Mm-hmm. And then they came back and scored another 7. So they've already got 14 goals.
Yeah, 14 goals in the last 2 games. I don't think goal scoring is going to be a problem given these past 2 games. So like I said, hopefully Coach Okobo got some experience for those younger players. Because we know injuries are going to set in and players are going to need to be subbed out. You got to get those young guys some experience so they can step in.
And then the girls, man, they came out with 2 dubs, 5 goals in one game, 4 in another. They've already got 9 goals, 0 goals allowed. Now their schedule will get tougher as we see over the next couple of weeks.
Actually, it's going to get tough this week.
Who do they got, Todd?
Okay, it's Soccer City Cup. It's the first game of Soccer City Cup this week. That will be tomorrow night, February 7th, 5 p.m. Dalton goes, it looks like, I think Dalton goes to Creek.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, should be. Oh, no, Dalton, yes, goes to Creek, correct.
Okay. Dalton goes to Creek because I don't remember.
Or no, Creek comes to Dalton, sorry.
It looks like Creek goes to Dalton.
Yeah.
So both the boys and the girls play. That kicks off at 5 p.m. It's about to get a lot tougher for both squads.
Are you calling
No, I'm not pulling a Roy and about to call no, I'm not doing that.
I will go out on a limb and I'm going to call it now. I will say both boys and girls will get their first loss tomorrow. I think the way I've seen the Dalton girls play, I think they're probably going to put 2-3 on Coahola. And the way Dalton came back from the Vestavia Hills, I think it's going to be a 3 or 4 goal win for them.
Yeah, I mean
with them to the way they played Northwest. So
I mean, a 4-1, something along those lines on the boys' side, and maybe a 3-1 on the girls' side is not going to surprise me a bit for both Dalton wins, I think. But you know what? It's like this. They dig deep for these local matches, and there's rivalry there. There's like I said, it can get intense. So we'll see what happens. And I'm assuming that game, has it been moved or is it going to be at Harmon? Do we know?
It hasn't rained lately, so we'll have to wait and see.
It hasn't rained lately.
But with that, we're going to go to commercial break. When we come back, we've got a couple more coaches interviews with Coach Marco Burgueño from Murray County, and we have Coach Jose Almodovar from Dalton High School Girls. With that, we're going to commercial break.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? What would it be like? With today's home values, this is the perfect time to sell and make those dreams a reality.
At ColdwellBanker.com, you can get an instant estimate on your home. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams.
At Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty, we've been serving our community since 1974 with offices in Dalton, Calhoun, Ringgold, Cartersville, and Cleveland, Tennessee. We've got you covered.
We provide an excellent service for individuals who've had catastrophic injury cases, people who've had injuries that are going to last them, unfortunately, for the rest of their life. Being there for a person, being there to actually see them get better, that is what this field is all about. That's what we're really striving to do, and that's what we think we provide. You still have to have that empathy for the person so you can tell their story to the jury. At the end of the day, that's where your case is heard.
Experience the power of the links. OptiLink streaming app VidLink, powered by its fastest internet service, GigLink. Your link to reliable remote access to healthcare. Your link to the best educational opportunities. Your link to our community's only local provider. Your link to the ultimate in entertainment choices and gaming experiences. No interruptions and faster downloads power up your life with the perfect combination of speed and entertainment. VidLink and GigLink. Upgrade today and get the power of the link.
Welcome back to Monday Night Football. So, Juan and I, we need to clarify something. We've been talking about two different things when we've been talking about teams having a win or not having a win. I've been counting the scrimmage.
No, scrimmage is I'm just going to go back. Scrimmage is not in the official stats.
Not in the official record, all right.
So, it's a scrimmage game. So, we're not –
So, officially, if you hear us say you either have one more win, like we are not counting the scrimmage officially. We're not going to count the scrimmage.
Now, Max Prep Sports, if you go on their website, it does count as a win, but coaches ain't going to count as a win. They're just going to count as a scrimmage game because it doesn't go in the record books for GHSA.
So there you go. For our intents purposes, we're not counting the scrimmage game.
But North Murray, the reason we were bringing that up because Todd say North Murray's had a win. They had a win in their scrimmage, but the girls – They have not. They've had two tough losses this week. Yeah. Last week, the boys at least split. They had one tough loss versus Heritage, but then they came back victorious later in the week.
Apparently Heritage girls. We knew they had a good squad last year. They were doing battle with
Northwest,
Southeast. They're good. I know they got a lot of club players that play up in Chattanooga. So that was just a rough loss. And once again, Coach Ambrose is playing. I think he said he's starting 6 freshmen. That's never going to be a good recipe. But by the end of the year, I expect them to make big improvements. So,
but we do. I was able to catch up with Marco Brugueño after the Dalton Academy game. So as mentioned, this coach's highlight would be sponsored by Geiger Legal. And here we go with Coach Marco.
All right, here we go with the head coach of Murray County Boys, Marco. This is your first week in the books. You had 2 games this week, Coahola Creek, and then today you played Dalton Academy. Just give us your thoughts on the first week of the season so far. I know it's been a little rough. You started out with a 7-0 loss to Coahola on Tuesday, and then you lost 1-0 today here to Dalton Academy. But just give us what you thought of the first week so far.
So first week, obviously tough games for us. We're playing 2 teams that state champs in the last 2 years. So obviously a challenge for us, but hoping that would get us ready for our season once we hit region play. Tuesday especially did not go how we want it to go, but I think today the performance was a good bounce back. So unfortunately we were able to get a goal there at the end to try to get it, but I'm happy with how we ended the week here after this first week of the season.
And you brought up a good point. Like your first 2 games of the season were against, obviously Dalton Academy state champion last year in single A, and then you had Coahola Creek the state champion a couple years ago. So 2 good games to see where you're at. How do you see these games helping you out for the rest of the season, especially in your region play?
So I think that it helps us see, what we need to do to be like some of these other teams that have had the success. And the level of play that needs to be, like how physical you got to be, how much work you got to put in. So I think it's good for us to get this in early so that later on it may not seem difficult, or when we have those tougher matches later on, it's not something that's new to us. We have some experience with that.
Well, appreciate you. Like I said, it was a tough week. You can bounce back next week against Adairsville and Gilmer County.
Correct.
So what do you think? What are you looking forward to next week against those 2 opponents?
So just looking for more of the same, like the effort we got today. I think today was a great defensive effort. We're just putting some goals next week. That's the difference.
All right, well, appreciate it. Good luck for the rest of the season, Coach.
Thanks.
Thanks to Geiger Legal. You can find them at geigerlegal.com. That was Coach Marco Brugueño, coach of the Murray County Indians, the boys squad. Tough loss against Dalton Academy. No shame in that loss, but at the same time, he's going to feel frustrated to just not to get some sort of result from that game. It was there to be had. And then tonight, once again, as you're probably watching this, this game will probably already be resulted out. Their kickoff was at 5 o'clock today. Murray County was at Adairsville, so a good chance for them to bounce right back. And then, of course, you heard him talk about the Coahola Creek result, which looks on paper looks absolutely terrible.
But it was closer than what it was. I think it was 3-0. Even Coach Alvarez touched on it. He was like, man, there was, then they had a goal scored on them, and then it's just like the wheels fell off, and then you scored 3 or 4.
Yeah, when another coach that's not involved in the game says that, it's usually true, because they don't want their team to get set up based on, well, they lost 7-0. Well, that'll if you go by that, it'll get you beat a lot.
And like I said, and then for the Murray County girls, obviously they lost to Coahola, but they came back and they tied.
Yep.
Now, like I said, I caught up with Coach Clemens briefly right before she was warming up the girls, said what she expected, and I think, from what it sounded like, she goes, if the girls do what they do, then we'll be fine. But if they don't, then there may be some extra running involved, because I think on paper, looking at it, nothing against the Dalton Academy Lady Pumas. As I saw the first half, and pretty much the run of play was all on Dalton Academy going against their goal. Murray County just kept, pushing the pressure, applying the pressure. They just, when I left, they hadn't scored yet.
Coach Clemens, that was one of the things she talked about last year, was just kind of self-inflicted wounds, and not taking advantage of the opportunities. But like I said, they got a chance to rebound tonight down at Daresville, and then coming up also on Thursday, they are away to Gilmer. So that's also, I think, for both winnable games.
Yep.
So hopefully they'll get back on in the winning ways with those.
And we got another interview here with Coach Almodovar from the Dalton Lady Catamounts. I was able to catch up with him briefly as well.
What game is this after?
All right, here we are with Coach Jose Almodovar, the head coach of the women's Dalton Catamounts team. They actually came out victorious 2-1 over the Northwest Lady Bruins. And this was actually their first game. So, Coach Almodovar, how did you feel about your first encounter since you didn't get to play a scrimmage game?
Definitely it took us about a half to get used to the field and the opponent, but I think the second half we adjusted to conditions. We dominated the possession game, and like I said, it's just it was night and day between first half and second half. So, but I still got to give credit to Lady Bruins. Coach has got them ready to go. They're going to do well in their region, but we get to see them one more time at their place. So we'll be ready for that.
And just you talked about the field conditions and everything. Obviously, you couldn't play at Harmon, came to play at TDA. So, do you feel with this being a wider field, do you feel like both teams didn't really adjust to a wide field?
Oh yeah. I don't think we got a corner kick in ourselves. But that's how wide the field is. But we did kind of practice at our place and try to get a feel for it. But you can't replicate what they have here. It's the field definitely takes time to get used to. But it's still 11 versus 11, and the team that makes the least mistakes is going to win.
All right, and then just last question, I guess this game is getting prepared for y'all to play Alatoona, which will be another tough matchup. So
it's probably same conditions for Friday. Hopefully it's dried off a little bit, but tough Alatoona team. They're physical, they're fast, they're technical. So I think Northwest gave us a good game that it'll help us prepare for them on Friday.
All right, well, congrats, Coach, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
Coach Almodovar after the Northwest 2-1 win, some good insight there. But that we're going to go to commercial break, and when we come back, we're just going to close down the segment with upcoming games and just see what we're looking forward to. So there's a lot. So with that, we're going to commercial break.
Who's up for some football?
That's not football. This is football.
And Eddie, there's one thing that we all can agree on. That's it. North Georgia is the home for new and pre-owned vehicles. And don't forget accessories, parts, service, and collision needs.
Claro que sí se puede. Casillas.
Hey, that's our part.
I've been doing natural gas work for 15 years. The day the accident occurred, someone had opened a gas valve while I was making a weld, and I ended up getting burned. They did surgery on my face, and I came home with pig skin and cadaver skin on my face in a year. I reached out to Casey through a phone call. He responded back and gave me all the information I needed to do about meeting up. He was just very down to earth and lockable person, genuine. You didn't have to question his integrity of who he was. Thanks to Casey, we've been able to purchase a home and just start a new chapter in our lives and close the door on a bad situation that happened.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? What would it be like? With today's home values, this is the perfect time to sell and make those dreams a reality.
At ColdwellBanker.com, you can get an instant estimate on your home. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams.
At Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty, we've been serving our community since 1974 with offices in Dalton, Calhoun, Ringgold, Cartersville, and Cleveland, Tennessee. We've got you covered.
Welcome back to our final segment of the night, and this is actually Todd Hudgens section. We're going to actually go have a little bit of highlights of the Northwest Alatoona game.
Yeah, I did want to touch base on the North Murray versus Dawson. That was a 2-1 win for North Murray. Had the brace scored by Uriel Marquez on that one, with the assist by Ronnie Arredondo. Apparently, that the Arredondo is like cross between Creek and North Murray, not far apart there. Arredondo. See, I got to work on that. And then it looks like a couple of saves by Ronnie. Is it Moscat? Moscat.
Yes.
So let's talk about Northwest. Had a great result last week versus versus Alatoona, 3-0 win. The game was it was moved, so they were playing at Riverbend Park, I believe.
Oh wow!
I think that's where this is at. I was looking at the trees.
So they're playing at Riverbend Park as Whitefield. Oh yes, that is Riverbend Park.
Yeah, there you go. I believe we have several highlights here. I don't think all of these are goals, but there were 3 of them scored. Once again, getting the hips around on that one. That's a tough goal to score.
And the thing is, with these teams playing...
head down, knee over ball, am I right?
Yes. But the thing is, with these teams playing on these wider fields, I notice the teams that aren't prepared to play on these wide fields, you watch them, and they're still playing within the football lines.
Yes. Yes, they do.
Like, if you look at a Dalton Academy...
Oh, there's a nice chip. There's a nice chip.
So you look at a Dalton Academy, that's a nice take.
You got to finish that.
Oh.
Unlucky.
And as mentioned, these highlights are brought to you by Geiger Legal Group. I want to thank them very much for being a sponsor of all the highlights for this upcoming season. Oh,
yep.
Goalie should have had that
You really should have had that one. I do know that Hayden Adams got a goal in that game. Hey, here's a red flag. You might want to mark that guy on the back post. I mean, it's not like there's not tape of him out there. White chocolate, going to put the drip on the back post every time.
So that evened out their week, going 1-1. So
agree. I know Coach Gutierrez would be really happy about having that win. Just brush that Dalton loss off, move on. You get another shot at him again here a little later in the season. So taking care of business.
But let's go look at that upcoming scoreboard because we are stacked for this week.
Oh goodness!
As mentioned, by the time you've seen this show, we will have had conclusions of the Dalton Academy, Gordon Central, boys and girls, and then obviously Murray County playing at Adairsville. Todd, look at those games. You named it right at the top. Soccer City Cup right there.
Right there, Dalton and Creek. That's going to be at Dalton starting at 5 o'clock. I believe that's tomorrow evening. So get down there. That'll be fun times.
And then you got Southeast playing Lady Rage and Raider Rage playing Calhoun at home for their season opener. I'm thinking of going down to that game just to check them out. I haven't seen Southeast play. Want to see what Calhoun's got, so looking forward to that. Then you got North Murray at Haralson County. They're going across the mountains,
Well, you know what? I still expect them to win these games anytime that they do that. I pick them to be the favorite.
And then we got Northwest playing Sprayberry. This is the girls, so that'll be tomorrow night.
Was that just the girls?
Yes, just the girls. This is where the week is scheduled where the East Side's going to have a game like every other day. If you go to Wednesday's games, Thursday's games, look.
He's going to be busy, boy.
Yeah, you got Northwest, Dalton Academy at Northwest boys right there. Then you have Murray County. Well, no, that one is at Dalton Academy at Northwest. So then you have Coahola Creek at Calhoun. So there's Calhoun playing another local team. You have Coahola Creek girls playing at Dade County. So I'm kind of interested to see how Coahola Creek Calhoun, because Southeast plays them on Tuesday, and then they come right back and play Coahola Creek. So I'm going to be kind of interested what that score line is going to be. Because then, obviously you don't say one scorer looks to the other, but that may give us a little insight of what the future matchup looks like.
I agree.
Then Christian Heritage playing LFO, which I think should be a Christian Heritage win the way they've
I
been
know, but I
playing.
still think it's going to be a nice little measuring stick. I mean, I think Heritage is better than LFO, so I pick Heritage on that one.
Then we got Murray County at Gilmer, both boys and girls.
I
And
want to
that's
see 2 dubs there. A shout out to Murray County. I want 2 dubs for coming home for that.
And then we got Friday, a lot of games scheduled for Friday as well. Dalton Academy girls going down to playing at Holy Innocents, and it's those private schools kind of get you. So we'll see how that goes. Coahola Creek playing at Coosa, both boys and girls. Southeast going down to East Side, both boys and girls. North Murray playing at home versus Rockmart. Dalton girls, another tough game.
I don't know anything about Kennesaw Mountain. So
it's an Atlanta game. It's Atlanta area school, so I mean, it's probably gonna be tough. And then you got Northwest girls playing Alatoona, so that'll be an interesting scoreline. As we know, Dalton lost 3-0 to Alatoona. Now Alatoona girls are coming up again to this area to play Northwest.
I mean, if Northwest can pull out a dub there, then you start to wonder, like, is it just a matchup problem with Dalton? I mean, I don't know, but that'll be a great game. Get out, like we always say. There's a lot of great games this week. Get out and support local soccer. Get you a hot chocolate if they have it.
And then Saturday, Dalton is playing down in Alabama. They're playing in the Vestavia Hills tournament, so they'll be playing Fort Payne, and then they'll have 2 games down this weekend. So it'll be interesting.
So do we know who the other games are going to be?
I did not look at the schedule to see. So, but overall, there's going to be some great games. A lot of away games this week. There's some local.
Yep.
But as mentioned, we had a lot to cover. We hope we got it covered as best we could.
Yep. Looking forward on this schedule, I was just looking on here. I mean, obviously the pick of the week, if you only get to go to one game, I would get that Soccer City Cup game in. That's Dalton and Coahola Creek. And remember, like, how we're doing this. We're going, obviously 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, no points for a loss, and then the first tiebreaker is going to be goal differential. So if a team gets up, it matters. If they hold them close, it matters. So be paying attention to that one. That would be my pick if you only could make it to one game this week.
That one, and I'm looking forward to seeing the Dalton Academy Northwest boys on Thursday, seeing what Coach Alvarez comes out. Playing his former college mate and Isaac Gutierrez. So it's going to be former Dalton State alumni soccer players going against each other.
Yep.
So it's going to be a very interesting there. And then, I mean,
you want to pick that game?
I'm not going to pick on that one.
I don't want to pick on that game either. I just don't like picking local games. Period.
I'm not going to pick that one just because I don't.
That's a good way to get in trouble.
I mean, it's good fodder, to give us a little bit of talk. But there's some good games. Like I said, if you haven't had a chance to get out there, the weather's going to be great. I think it's going to be like 70 degrees on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So it's like
then the
Jekyll and Hyde.
Then the excuse for no hot chocolate will be it's too warm.
Yeah. So it's going to be like Jekyll and Hyde. Last week, it was cold and rainy all week, and then this week is going to be warm. I think all the way up till Thursday or Friday. We've already saw taco truck at Dalton Academy. Murray County brought the taco truck again.
Yep.
So now we got to see, is Southeast going to have a taco truck at their home games? Is Dalton Academy going to have a Dalton taco truck? Coahola Creek? I mean, that's how we're measuring these schools now is, can you bring a taco truck?
Not me. Look, mine's
Todd's
very basic.
measuring by hot chocolate.
Look, I don't ask for a lot. That's
hot
all I
chocolate.
ask for. Just hot chocolate, man, when it's cold. If it's below 56, if it's below 60, hot chocolate.
And then we may have a Roy Alvaron sighting somewhere in one of these games. He's been MIA the last week. I didn't see him in any of this.
We tried to get him on the show tonight, but he couldn't come on. So.
He played golf this weekend, and he lost some money on the golf course.
So he had to go make it up.
He said he had to go make it up. And
where's our guy Manny Meza this week?
Manny said he has some Booster Club things he's dealing with.
Booster Club.
Manny's part of the Dalton Booster Club, so hopefully we'll get him out here next week. But like I said, get out there, watch these matches. We do want to thank. While we're up here, we want to thank Dalton Utilities and OptiLink for the scoreboard.
Absolutely.
We want to thank Geiger Legal Group for bringing the highlights. That will bring the highlights for the rest of the year.
GeigerLegal.com.
Yes, Geiger-legal.com.
Geiger, and that's GEIGER.
Yes. for
You
any
gotta,
league.
you gotta put that
Yes.
hyphen in there.
But as mentioned, we're getting ready to wrap this show up. We had tons of highlights. We had tons of interviews. Now, will that be the same next week? We don't know. It just depends how many games we can get out to.
But thanks to the coaches and anybody who's sending us highlights in any sort of fashion, we certainly appreciate it. So the more we have, the less you got to listen to us.
Yes, it makes, and then plus is out there promoting the game for the kids. So with that, we're going to get ready to end this segment. But go out and enjoy some soccer and stay tuned and watch us next week. Until next time.